Hey guys, welcome back to Headbanger's Closet. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Hope everyone's staying warm out there. I know that in a pretty big portion of the country, there's a massive blizzard going on right now. So hopefully all you guys are staying indoors, staying warm, and being safe. Here where I live, there's no snow, but dude, it is bitterly cold. We are talking high temperatures in the low 20s with a 25 to 30 mile per hour wind going on. I definitely do not want to be going outside today. So instead, I'm staying in and making a video for you guys. And today's video is going to be about one of my favorite bands, the band Death. I am going to talk about my Death collection on vinyl, which is pretty much, with a handful of exceptions, but pretty much all those Relapse records, reissues from 2020 on clear splatter pinwheel vinyl. Really great job of Relapse Records. Each label, as you'll see, is kind of album specific, and each kind of like color pattern is album specific as well. So I think it's really cool. I thought they did a great job with those reissues. I did a Death video and an album ranking a while back. I did not go back and watch that before I filmed this one. I don't really feel the need to. I know my album ranking has probably changed since then because it always happens to me. I'll be listening to a tune that'll come on shuffle, and I'll be like, oh, that's a great song. And I'll go back and listen to that album a few times, and lo and behold, my rankings change. So we're going to do an album ranking today for you. Worst to first, I'll do it. How about that? So let's get right to it. The first album we're going to talk about comes in last. I hate saying that, but it is what it is. It's Individual Thought Patterns. Came out June 22nd, 1993. I just finished my junior year of high school when this came out. Really good record. It's got to finish last, though, and the reason being is just the album as a whole, in my opinion, is not as strong as the other albums as a whole, as a body of work. There's some great individual songs on here. Just album as a whole isn't that great. This came out right after Human, which came out in '91. Those are the two albums from the Death catalog, in my opinion, that sound very similar in terms of guitar tone, just the heaviness, Chuck's vocal stylings, which in my opinion change pretty much every record. They just sound a little bit different, which I find is great. Very refreshing, that little differences record to record in the vocal stylings and whatnot. You can kind of see that progression as a band, as a songwriter, as a musician going forward through his discography. And I'm not going to get through and go in detail about all of the lineup changes and the different players in each album. That'll be a 45-minute video. If you want all that, go check out the Death documentary on Netflix. It's awesome. It's badass. You will not be disappointed if you hadn't seen it. But I don't want to do all that. We all know Chuck's the main guy and main singer-songwriter and everything. And he's the guy that drives the bus. Like I said, Individual Thought Patterns is a great record. Just has got to finish last because as a whole, it's not as good. But songs like Trapped in a Corner, which if I'm not mistaken has Hank Sherman from Merciful Fate filling in and doing a guest guitar solo, which sounds awesome. You have other pretty cool songs too. Mentally Blind, Individual Thought Patterns, The Philosopher's a cool tune, which has a really cool video as well. But you know, we're doing an album ranking. One of them's got to finish last. So this is a Relapse Records 2020 reissue. And one similarity about all these Relapse records is you get on the liner notes and stuff, you get a picture of the guys in the band playing live, you know, photo shoot shots, and in the studio shots, you've got a backstage pass, you've got tour flyers and stuff, and then you get the lyrics of the songs, and then on the inside, you get a picture of the current, you know, the band lineup from that album, and then you get a little write-up from each guy in the band about the record and whatnot. So that's really cool. Like I said, each album has that on it, on these reissues, and each album, like I said, the label is album specific. This one is no different. That's the picture. That's on the inner sleeve right there, the band photo. And then you just have the Death logo, which is so badass. One of the best, coolest logos in all of metal. And this is clear, pinwheel, pink, white, green, red going on there, which is really cool. Be careful putting all these back. I do not want to rip any of these. Relapse Records had them on their website, and I think I actually had to hold off about a month or two before I bought them all, and they had plenty, but now you go back on there and they're really hard to find, you know, Discogs, eBay, and stuff like that. But Individual Thought Patterns, June 22nd, 93, coming in last. Next one is probably my favorite Death album artwork. It's The Spiritual Healing, which came out February 16th, 1990. It's their third album. Really, really cool evangelical scene, Christian preacher guy with the money in his pocket, exorcising the demon out of the pool, like handicapped guy, and there's the church lady singing the church hymns and dancing around like a crazy person. I'm sure you've all seen those videos on YouTube. Kind of looks like maybe a scene you could see driving through, like if you're driving through like Louisiana or like Mississippi, driving down the interstate, you see one of those revival tents on the side of the road, and the guy's got his congregation in there, and they're paying him money to exorcise the demons and stuff from the local population. Kind of reminds me of that, but really, really cool record. This particular album, in my opinion, are the cleanest, most understandable vocals from Chuck. Great guitar riffs, very heavy. But again, as a whole album, body of work, I don't think it's as good as the others. Great tunes, first side in particular, Living Monstrosity, Altering the Future, Defensive Personalities, Within the Mind. Flip it over to side 2, you got Spiritual Healing, which is great. Killing Spree is another great tune. Great album overall. You can kind of, like I said, this is the third record, you can kind of hear that progression on this one. A little bit better produced, it sounds a little cleaner in my opinion. Great record, like I said, overall it's awesome. And my favorite album artwork by Death. From Death, I should say. Another Relapse Records, Reissue 2020. Again, picture of all the guys. Photo shot pictures in studio, just hanging out, playing live as well. Really, really cool. Check out this, like I said, album came out February 16th, 1990. There's the band, that 1990 look going on. And then, again, photo of the guys in the band right there, and then lyrics and write-up from each guy in the band that played on this record. Oh, no. Drop that. Pretty cool. Right there, there's the preacher guy right there. The song Clear. Splatter, pinwheel, blue, red, and black, and white. And then there's the guy, there's the handicapped guy getting worked on there by the preacher. Pretty cool. Not only is this my favorite album artwork, I would say this is also my favorite record label artwork. Like I said, they're all album specific, which I think this was really, really cool. They did a great job on this one. Drop something, I don't know what it was. Next record is Leprosy. I've got a couple of different versions of Leprosy. Leprosy came out August 12th, 1998. This is their second record. A really, really good album overall. If you watch the documentary, the guy talks about, you know, I don't remember what the dude was. I think he was like a writer or something like that from a magazine, and he was a big Death fan. But he mentioned he was in college having this cranked in the dorm room. Now, when this came out, I was in middle school, and I had this thing. I had a cassette tape. I had this thing cranked. It's a great record. Sounds a little rough at first, especially when you listen to all the albums kind of back to back. This one sounds a little bit rougher production wise, but it's so awesome. That raw energy and power really comes through. Leprosy is a great tune. To me, a little bit overplayed, but you know, my favorite songs on the record: "Left to Die," "Open Casket," favorite song on the album. Such a great drum, you know, part in the beginning, and then the riff that closes the song is just so heavy. Can't help but headbang to the thing. Left to Die is a great tune. Choke on It's really, really cool tune. This is a Relapse Gatefold. The guys in the band, lyrics, again, right up from each dude in the band as well. And this one's a little different. It's not the 2020 release. I'll just show you one of the records. It's a 2-record set. No need to show you both, because they're pretty much the same thing. But it's Clear. And then there's the Leprosy guy right there. Again, another really cool album artwork from a band that I don't always feel has the strongest. Can't really see it right there because of the color, but still pretty cool. And now to show you guys the other Leprosy record. This is not a gatefold, but this is the Relapse Records 2020 version. And just like the others, this one you get, on that one you hardly got any band photos at all. This one you get them right there. All the band photos, more of them on this side. Then again, just like all the other Relapse reissues here in 2020, you get the picture of the guys in the band, lyrics, and write-up from each guy in the band that played on that particular album. Can't not mention that with the huge amount of turnover in the band Death. Really, really cool right there. Another clear pink and baby blue, a little bit of brown in there and white. Well, there's a Leprosy guy right there, and then the Leprosy guy on the other side, just different color. Really cool. Leprosy, in my opinion, is kind of up there with Human and Individual Thought Patterns for probably the heaviest of the Death records, in my opinion. Again, these are just my opinions. I'm really, really interested to hear you guys' thoughts on these different records. You know, I want to hear your rankings on these. You know, am I way off on mine? You know, what albums do you guys think are the heaviest and whatnot? I'd like to hear your opinions. Next record we're going to talk about is Human. Came out October 22nd, 1990. I don't know if I mentioned when Leprosy came out, but it was August 12th, 88. But Human's awesome, just like Leprosy and Individual Thought Patterns. Crazy heavy, but this thing's got amazing songs throughout, just front to back, great album. Got Flattening of Emotions, Suicide Machine, Together as One. Lack of Comprehension's great. It's got a really cool video. Crazy, fast, chugging, headbanging riff. Just like the song Open Casket, you cannot help but headbang when you hear that song. See Through Dreams is really cool. Vacant Planets is another great tune. And then they do a really great cover of God of Thunder, which is cool. So the album cover is the kind of the skeletons right there. And then this one's a little bit different. You got some handwritten lyric sheets with some pictures of the band. Same thing here. Picture of the band, lyrics, and little write-ups of each guy that played on the album. Here's the vinyl. There's the skeleton death head there. You know, there's the skull with the death logo. And this is the clear with white, pink, and black splattered pinwheel. So, Human, awesome record. It's one of the albums for me that kind of like turned the, you know, changed the world for me when it comes to Death. I was a big Death fan, but when I heard that record, I just became like a huge Death fan. The next record is the first one, Scream Bloody Gore. It came out May 25th, 1987. To me, this is the birth of death metal. A lot of people go between this one and Possessed Seven Churches. I believe it's this one. I mean, death metal, the band Death, I mean, it kind of created the genre right there. But great record. Starts off with Infernal Death. Zombie Ritual was got to be my top 5 favorite Death songs, as well as on side 2, Evil Dead, such a great tune. Scream Bloody Gore. Just Chuck and the other guy, I forgot his name. Chuck did the lyrics, you know, the singing, guitar, and bass. The other guy was a drummer. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. But the two of them recorded this record. You can tell it's their first one. Early 80s. Doesn't sound the most produced record, just like a lot of those great early 80s debuts. But nonetheless, you can really hear that raw power and energy, and you kind of knew this was definitely something special. And there's just a picture of the two guys that played on the album. There's Chuck and the other guy. I really forget his name. Hope they listed here, but I don't see it. Lyrics to the tunes, right up from the guys, and picture of the dudes right there. Here's the album on clear blue, white, and red splatter. There's the Scream Bloody Gore zombie guy drinking, and there's the head zombie guy right there. It's really, really cool. Really, really great artwork on this particular record. And it comes in on number 3 on my list of my favorite Death records. Again, it wasn't easy to make this list. So the next one is The Sound of Perseverance, which came out September 15th, 1998. It's their last Death record. This wasn't supposed to be a Death record. Chuck was trying to get away from the band Death and do his new band name, which I don't recall at the moment. I'm having a brain meltdown, but I guess the record company was like, "Nah, man, you got to give us one more Death record." So they took those songs they were writing for that project and they made them into a Death record. lyrically, or not really lyrically, but like vocal style is a little different on this. I feel Chuck's vocal stylings, like I mentioned earlier in this video, they're a little different each album, which I thought was awesome, very refreshing. This one, they're a lot different, really. It's, you know, maybe hit or miss with some fans. I think it's cool, but they're a little bit more high-pitched. This particular record is a Relapse, but it is, let's see, it's the big gatefold. So, picture of the guys that played on the record, lyrics right here. No liner notes on these, just the stuff that's on the gatefold. And you'll kind of see why in a second. And I don't remember where I picked this up, but this one is on olive drab green with the album cover logo on the label right there, which is pretty cool. And then just the standard, you know, it's that death logo, but really, really cool olive drab green colored vinyl on a really cool triple fold-out gatefold, which I think is awesome. The next one is another Sound of Perseverance. This is the Relapse Records 2020 reissue. This is just your standard gatefold right here. Same deal, picture of the guys in the band, lyrics right up from each guy in the band. Both of these versions are the 2 record sets. Black, red, white, brown, pink splatter. Pinwheel splatter, I guess, if you will. There's the logo, the album cover logo right there. Great record. For a long time, this is my favorite Death album. I mean, it just starts off great. Scavenger of Human Sorrow is awesome. Then Bite the Pain. You've got Spirit Crusher, which is awesome. You've got Flesh and the Power of a Hold, which is phenomenal tune. And then you get the really cool instrumental Voices of the Soul, which is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard in terms of guitar work. Where it sits on the album, you could probably call it a musical interlude, if you will. Really, really cool album. Ends with a Judas Priest cover of Painkiller, which is interesting, I guess. It's not my favorite Painkiller cover, but definitely cool, worth a listen. So give it a listen. Death's Sound of Perseverance is their last record before the passing of Chuck, unfortunately. So give it a listen. It's my second favorite album, and like I said, it was for a long time. It was my favorite Death record. And if you've kind of been paying attention, you know what comes next. Last, but definitely not least, the best Death record, Symbolic. Not a bad song on this album from front to back. Every single song is a masterpiece. This one came out, excuse me, this one came out March 21st, 1995. It's the second to last record. Ironically, it's probably my least favorite album cover. I mean, I don't really know what's going on here, but I don't listen to Death because of the album cover. This one's a little different. It's not a Relapse record. It is on Metal Blade. Lyrics to the tunes right here. Right up from the guys and picture of the guys in the band. This one is really cool. I'll tell you the story of how I got this. I was looking for all these Death records. I got most of them on the Relapse Records website. I got 2 of them from the Vinyl Frontier record store right up in Carrollton, Georgia. If you're near Atlanta or even West Georgia, check them out. Carrollton, Georgia, the Vinyl Frontier. Really, really cool store. Really, really good metal section. And cool people that work there just want to help out fellow fans and collectors get the records they want. So got to give them a shout out. I got one of the Leprosy records and Individual Thought Patterns from them. The other ones I picked up on Relapse Records website. But they kind of quickly sold out. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. But this one, Symbolic, I could not find. Relapse Records didn't have it. Everything online was really expensive or black vinyl. I came across it on Amazon.com, and it was like $25. I was like, all right, I'll pick it up. And I noticed it said colored vinyl, but it did not have, or at least I don't recall. I mentioned this story in the first Death episode, so maybe you want to watch that one and check out the story as well. But I don't recall what color it said it was. I think it said it was the white vinyl, but I was like, it can't be the white vinyl for that price, because on Discogs, the white vinyl was going for like $50 or more. Well, I bought it anyway and maybe just crossed my fingers. Hopefully I was right, and hopefully it was the white version. It came in the mail, and yes, it was the white version of the record. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful looking piece of vinyl. Great label right there, so awesome. Great I can't say enough about this album. So good. So good. Songs on it, like I said, stand out alone. And as a whole as well, an album body of work. Symbolic, Zero Tolerance, Empty Words, Sacred Serenity, 1,000 Eyes, Without Judgment, Crystal Mountain, Misanthrope, and Personal Quest. Every song on this record is absolute barn burner. Heavy, riffs are kick-ass, lyrics are really cool, drums are badass, solos are awesome. The whole thing is great. If you want to get into the band Death, you really haven't heard much of them before. A lot of people told me grew up, start with Leprosy. No. All of the albums are out now. They're not putting anything else out. So start with Symbolic. Listen to this, fall in love with it, then go back and listen to the other albums in their catalog. So that is my Death collection. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know what your rankings are. Anything you want to talk about Death related, I'm down. Leave it below. Hit that like and subscribe button if you will. I really appreciate that. And yeah, appreciate all you guys tuning in. I will have another video for you guys very soon. Cheers, guys.